Well, good morning, y'all. How are we? I'm going to start with just a little bit of vulnerability because I hear that's a good way to connect. I'm feeling a little reddish right now. In fact, I might have to contact Dr. E and tell her she needs to turn her scale to 11. Feeling crimson color going on. Anyway, I am Melick from Wisetail, and I'm very honored and grateful to be here with you all. This is my very first chart. Hopefully, not my last. I am excited to talk about a topic that's near and dear to my heart. It really has the power to revolutionize our routines and hopefully transform our professional and personal lives. Calling it conscious engagement. Who here has either struggled personally or with their teams with engagement? Okay, most people. So before we dive into how we're defining conscious engagement, I just want to share a couple of pretty startling statistics. According to a Gallup workplace survey, 62% of employees are not engaged. 15% of employees are actively disengaged. This equates to $8.8 trillion in lost productivity at a global GDP level. This is 9% of the global GDP. Wisetail conducted a survey with one poll and also got some startling revelations from that. 1 in 5 employees have considered quitting because they're overwhelmed by the amount of information available. This survey was conducted specifically with frontline workers, the teams that we work with every single day. 83% of employees feel like there's just too much information to know how to do their jobs accurately. 43% cite that they have work-related stress. So while these statistics seem doom and gloom, I'm here to share a couple of key takeaways and conscious decision-making that we can do as leaders to help employees and ourselves feel more engaged every day. So what is conscious engagement? It's creating a supportive culture where employees are provided the right resources tailored to their own personal needs. This empowers competency, which will drive confidence. This involves also recognizing that employee behaviors are really driven by those environmental factors at their workplace, including events and relationships. We've heard a lot throughout this conference about connection, a very important component for all of our team members. Engaged employees are mentally present and ready for action. They drive productivity within our organizations, and they provide us, as humans, critical pieces that drive learning, innovation, creativity, and peak performance across the entire team. So, how do we actually put this into practice? Starting the day with intention. So we all have heard, I'm sure, ad nauseum across all of the platforms, intention drives everything, but I'm here to suggest it actually does just that. Starting with a purpose and a goal in mind, not only for ourselves, but for our team members to understand what tasks, what relationships do they want to cultivate. All of those things on a day-to-day basis actually drives engagement. Creating a supportive environment. What does this look like? That means really giving employees and ourselves the tools that we need to do our jobs effectively. That can look like learning and training materials, that can look like mentorship, that can look like a breadth of information and capabilities to really drive that engagement. Prioritize meaningful interactions. Again, going back to that connection piece, we all thrive when we feel valued. Engagement is a direct result of people feeling like they're part of something valuable, that they have something to contribute. So creating experiences where you can have meaningful interactions on a regular basis will drive engagement. Break down tasks. How many of us have looked at a project and said there's no possible way? I have. Employees feel the exact same way that we do. If we can ensure the tasks are broken down in a way that is manageable, that is accessible, it's not so overwhelming. Going back to those previous statistics, people feel overwhelmed regularly. Integrating continuous learning. We're all here because we are experts in learning, right? Those learning experiences should be on a regular basis. It doesn't have to be necessarily training that someone has to take. Although I would say training is pretty important, but it's also those opportunities to connect with other people that they can learn from, whether it's mentorship programs, whether it's collecting in a group like we are every single day. It's a way to drive that engagement. And then finally, I am from Wisetail, utilizing technology. Although I do believe, truly in my core, that technology is a great complement to those human interactions. It can accelerate everything, making sure it is not part of the overwhelm. So I talked a bit earlier, like 2 minutes ago, about the negative impacts of disengagement. Who's curious about what positive engagement can create? Here we go. 10% higher customer loyalty. Who is really interested in driving customer loyalty and great, exceptional experiences? Yeah, that's what we're here for, right? So if we can see that increase with engaged employees, it drives those results. Higher profitability. We're all worried about the top and bottom line. It's really hard when we think about L&D specifically and training to really prove that ROI. And so having actively engaged employees directly impacts that top and bottom line. Higher productivity for both sales and frontline workers. Who has issues with turnover? I'm taking the laughter as awkward yeses. Okay, yes. If we can decrease that turnover because we've got engaged employees, isn't that just a win for everyone? I would say yes. And then finally, we're looking at what is the role of leadership? We're all leaders in our organizations. We all have responsibilities, and I would argue it is the best responsibility to have, right? What is our role in making sure our employees and our teams feel engaged? Lead by example. And so we went through a few of those 6 to be specific things you can do on a regular basis. Leading by example looks like breaking down your own tasks. It looks like leading with intention. It looks like ensuring that you have all of the right interactions that you can have with your team members. Encouraging participation. People who feel engaged are actively collaborating with other people, making sure you are encouraging people to have those conversations with their team members, making sure everyone feels like they have a seat at the table and that their voices are heard. We all want to feel like we have autonomy and direction over our future, and so that participation in career growth and holding on to choose your own adventure endings for making sure your training is appropriate will encourage that participation. And then finally, facilitating growth. We all want to be better every single day, and it is our jobs as leaders in organizations to make sure we're giving pathways and opportunities for people to grow and feel engaged in everything that they do. We have the power and arguably the responsibility to shift the paradigm on how we engage on a day-to-day basis to create and foster a culture of conscious engagement. This will enhance how we learn, how we work, and how we grow together. Thank you.